The mystery that baffled scientists for 100 years. The pyramids of Antarctica. Did the Egyptians transfer their civilization to the South Pole? In 2016, the World Wide Web was full of pictures that included Antarctica that show pyramids in the ice landscape, and the pictures show that 3 pyramids with 4 sides are similar to the Egyptian pyramids of Giza, and this prompted researchers to ask the question, could these be original man-made pyramids created by an ancient civilization? The mystery that baffled scientists for 100 years. The pyramids of Antarctica. Did the Egyptians transfer their civilization to the South Pole? Did the ancient Egyptians build pyramids in Antarctica? Or are these pyramids made by aliens? A question that some thought was naive, but in fact it began to take great strides toward certainty since 2016, when the British magazine Ancient Origins, based in the Republic of Ireland, a scientific research journal concerned with the exploration of a planet Earth, a series of research and scientific articles supported by photos and videos, pyramidal shapes on the northwestern fringes of Antarctica, which covers more than 98% of its area is snow. The truth is that the story of the pyramids of Antarctica is not new. About a century and 2 decades ago, specifically in the year 1910, when a number of British explorers, numbering 65 men, left, led by the naval officer-explorer, Robert Falcon Scott, on an expedition called GASM. The Terra Nova mission, and the members of that mission were chosen from 8,000 applicants, including officers, navigators, doctors, explorers, geologists, and aquatic and wild biologists, and it was carried out under the auspices of the British Royal Geographical Society, in order to explore Antarctica. Scott and his companions reached the South Pole on January 17 of the year 1912, about 72 days before they all died on the return trip, as they passed away on March 29 of the same year inside Antarctica, and their bodies were not found until about 200 days later, specifically in November 12 of the same year. The most important discoveries of the mission were those pyramidal shapes covered with ice, and despite their death, they wrote in their diaries what they noticed of forms believed to be the remains of an ancient civilization, a civilization very similar to the ancient Egyptian civilization, or it may be the same civilization and that the Egyptians had succeeded in reaching the continent of Antarctica thousands of years ago. Dr. Charles Hapgood, Antarctica has not been covered by ice for 6,000 years, and there is evidence of the presence of humans and their civilization on its land. For more than a century, the British hid this information and the pictures taken by Scott and his companions, although some information and rumors emerged about what they found there of ancient civilization and snow-covered pyramids, and in 2016, a group of those interested in strange appearances revived the hypothesis of the Antarctic pyramids, when they showed some images on Google Earth of Antarctica appear to show pyramids covered in ice, and they published their hypothesis in the journal Ancient Origins, which scours the planet and uncovers boundary-breaking research on the ancient world. The images that these researchers dealt with showed what appear to be 3 pyramids with 4 sides similar to the famous pyramids of Giza in Egypt, which really makes us wonder, who built the pyramids of Antarctica? Could they be man-made and established by an ancient civilization? And what is the relationship of the ancient Egyptians with them? Is it possible that the Egyptian was the one who built these pyramids one day? Despite the distance between the pyramids of Giza and the pyramids of the Antarctic continent, which amounts to more than 13,000 kilometers, the Egyptian architecture, with its engineering capabilities, was unique to the Egyptians. It was the motive behind the belief that they were the ones who built the pyramids of the South Pole, which made them call it the Pyramid of Antarctica, or the Pyramid Trough. The most important question is, how did the researchers see those pyramids? Many of them put forward many theories about the origin of these pyramids. Some of the most controversial theories are that the pyramids were the remains of an extinct Atlantic civilization in Antarctica, or that they were built by aliens, although the most it was presented from actual analyses of this phenomenon, which is that it was formed as a result of natural geological changes, and that these pyramids are nothing but an icy rock outcrop or nunatak, which are mountain peaks that emerge through the ice, and one of the 3 pyramids can be observed near the beach, while the 2 pyramids are located, the others are 16 kilometers away from it. In his research, The Maps of the Ancient Sea Kings, Evidence for Advanced Civilization in the Ice Age, the American historian Charles Hutchins Hapgood published the map of the Turkish sea captain, Ahmed Muhyiddin Piri, known as Piri Chief, in 1966, which showed that Antarctica at the beginning of the 16th century, it was not covered by ice, which is an accurate map that may have been copied from a map that was drawn up 6,000 years ago, which constituted a real shock to scientists, which means the possibility that the Antarctic continent was once inhabited by humans, and that man managed to build those pyramids. Sometime during the past 6,000 years, that is, at a time when man was building pyramids in the ancient world, which means the possibility of an ancient civilization covered in ice now. Scientifically, researchers believe that the pyramids of the Antarctic are nothing but a mountain that takes a pyramidal shape, and it is the result of a kind of erosion that appears only in the polar regions where rocks are exposed to ice erosion, despite the apparent stability of those snows, but those glaciers are constantly moving. This results in polishing or carving one of the faces of the mountain, and with the passage of time that extends over millions of years, the directions of the glaciers changed, which made them polish four faces of the mountain, which produced this hierarchical shape. As for the pyramids of Antarctica, the first is located at latitude 78 degrees 18 minutes south, and 163 degrees 27 minutes east, and its height is about 1,200 meters, and its slopes are covered with ice, and it has a peak very similar to the summit of the well-known Egyptian pyramids, and it is not alone, as we may find that pyramidal shape it is abundantly buried under the ice, and takes a line shape as if it were a line. It is located in a flat plain area called the Ellsworth Mountains, located in the south of a lake called the Pyramid Lake, and near a river called the Koettlitz Glacier, which was called the Pyramid Mountain, and the worthy it should be mentioned that there are many lakes close to this mountain with ancient Egyptian names. There is Cleopatra's Pond, Egypt, and Ibis Lakes, which are lakes formed as a result of small streams that come from high places called uplands. One of the streams was called the Nile, all of which are different names. Official, launched by a number of scholars.